Next up, we have Damon Williams with Honeywell, getting into tips, tech, and T1L.
Hello, everybody. My name is Damon Williams. I'm with Honeywell. I'm a senior application system sales engineer. I work along with Guy Zebrick, who just recently retired, John Hutchie and Lou Jones, doing the training on all of the optimizer line. So today I'm going to go through and talk to you guys about IRM2 upgrades. We added a couple of things to it. As of Tuesday, we just released our toolset 3.302. That gives you the ability that we've added an error log to the tools. We've also added the ability for you to change the UDP ports on our IP controllers. We made some adjustments to the Modbus controller. On the wire sheets, we also gave you the ability to switch between on-demand and immediate mode. And then we've also added a debug function to it. I'm also talk about our optimizer T1L VAV controller that we announced earlier this year at ASHRAE. And so those controllers are actually gonna start shipping out here at the end of this month. And then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the optimizer advanced Bluetooth controller that is gonna be coming. So for the error logs, again, it gives you the ability to view alarms on your live controllers. The debug mode enables you to turn off and on, being able to look at live data on your wire sheet. For Modbus, we added in the write, retry, and timeout. We've added a min-max write time. And then again, the teaching mode can change between on-demand and immediate mode. And the difference is on-demand, anything that I add to my wire sheets, I have to physically download those into the controller. If I'm in immediate mode, all my blocks that I add onto the wire sheet automatically gets downloaded into the controller itself. And then on the UDP ports, again, I can have the ability to change those. So if I'm putting this on my customer's network and their IT department do not want you to use the typical 47808, you do have that ability to change it to what they want it to be. So looking at that, yes. Live on my controller here. So I have my T1L VAV controller here that is set up using our Flex VAV template by John Hutchie. So if I come into here and I right-click on this controller here, go to Views, and now I have a new view here called Error Log. And when I click on this, it doesn't show me any alarms, even though I say I have 17. Give me 1 minute. There we go. So any errors that I have network-wise, or if I have function blocks, I/O blocks that are configured, but there's nothing wired to them, I will get those on here as well. I can actually check to have the system to enable auto alarm refresh. I can go back in and change that, how much I want that to refresh. And then with these right here, if I have cleared these out or straightened these up, I can come in here and acknowledge these, and then that will help you guys get rid of that little red circle that we always have on the controllers because of those alarms, or the yellow circle for any warnings that you might have in the system. Also, with these tools here, if I go to my wire sheet on my IRM program, on here is where I can quickly switch between on-demand and immediate. If I switch to immediate and then come back in here and drop any function block, that block is automatically downloaded, and the way I can tell that this is downloaded is I will get the symbol there. If I'm in on demand and I drop a function block here and hit OK, I'm going to wind up getting this warning here. I'm working and teaching on demand, hit OK, and then I'm going to get this block with the yellow triangle here. And then I would actually have to go in and teach that controller itself. So also in this controller here, if I come back to my Honeywell BACnet device management, I can right click on here, go to Honeywell Actions, and then I can go down to, come on, Honeywell Action IP config. And then underneath here under IP config, typically when you load these for the first time, they're in DHCP. I can switch this to static, put in my IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and then here I can change the UDP port to whatever I want it to be. Also, we added in a system log, so if you have a system log server, I can actually put that IP address in and then put in the port ID, and then my controller will start sending those system logs to your server as well. Down under Control Manager is where we went in and made the changes. Instead of the Modbus stuff just setting out, we put that in a folder. And then from here, I can change the rewrite timeout for that controller as well. And then also in here, I can change whether if I'm on demand or in immediate mode as well. On my wire sheet, you see here I have no data coming through. Just like the older classic spiders, we wind up putting the debug mode back. And this is to help you to keep from having your system polling twice. So I can actually turn this off, and then we still have our function where we go to our IRM menu and then go to Actions, and then I can swap that out, which is actually taking this controller out of engineering mode as well. Some of the other changes that has been made, especially with 4.14, is the way we normally used to do our display here for the Optimizer Advanced. We used to do everything through the BACnet network local device and going to the export table to get everything done. We have added in a migration deal now that you can get. Where we have this Hun plant controller migrator. I can actually take this, drop this into my services. And then under services, if I have that set up, I could come here, right-click on this, go to Actions, and then tell it to migrate. This window will come up. I don't have anything set up in here, but I can come in here. I can select that station. It's going to be my Niagara Advanced Controller. I can add the Hun network driver. That actually, instead of going through the export tables, we created a separate driver for that. And then I can tell it to keep all of the Honeywell BACnet object and the export tables as well. And then that would create the new network for you. Also, for the optimizer Bluetooth underneath services, your platform, I'm sorry. If I log into here, I'm now going to have this Honeywell controller wireless configuration. When I click and go into here, this is where I would go in to set up all my Bluetooth configuration. So unlike the Bluetooth VAV controllers and the Bluetooth unitary controllers, I can come here and say that this is going to be permanently on. I can select timed activated by buttons, or I can do permanent activated by button, and then that would be the service button on the front of the controller to enable that. I can actually go here to set the date. This can be set no more than 90 days if I have it set that way. And then after 90 days, then that will actually disable itself. And that is done by security purposes. And then we have our passcode that we can go in and set as well. So for our optimizer VAV T1L controller, it's basically the same as the unitary controller that we have. And this one here, with these chips here that we have, the board actually has been redone. So it is different than the VAV controllers that we have that was originally the Spider 7 VAVs that got rebranded to Optimizer VAVs. The T1L controller is officially the Optimizer controller, VAV controller that uses a separate board. So the plan is once these are officially released at the end of this month and distributors have them to provide for you guys, we are actually going back in and we're redoing the boards for the MSTP controllers and the IP controllers. And with us doing the IP controllers, we're going to officially have pass-through on our Ethernet controllers that would match the T1L pass-throughs as well. So with T1L, it is a two-wire, Ethernet over two-wire twisted pair. So I can actually go into a building that I have LAN controllers, I can have MSTP controllers, I can have any other older systems there. Honeywell's old XL5000 line, XL8000 line that used that twisted pair of wires. I can't mix and match. I will have to replace all of those controllers. Once I get all of those controllers replaced, I can reutilize any existing wire that is there, whether if that wire is stranded, is solid, or anything like that. We can actually have that bring those in, and it communicates at 10 megabytes per second, which is the slower Ethernet speed, but it is a lot faster than what you would get out of MSTP and a LAN communication. The distance between controllers, we can go 3,200 feet between controllers, and then that's going to be in a daisy chain capacity. So the good thing about that, our T1L chip as well, is not polarity sensitive. So if I do wire up my plus and minus, white and black, and then I go to the next controllers and those wires have been swapped. That chip will recognize that and it would auto-correct itself as well. So you don't have to worry about that as well. Also, with our part folder here under Honeywell, they have made some fixes here where we do offline and it will discover all of your parts now without a controller being there correctly. And then also with the new tools, we have upgraded the firmware in those controllers. That is going to go to 2.1.2.10. And then also the Spider 5's compact VAVs have been moved over to Optimizer compact VAVs. And then the firmware has finally been upgraded to those as well. So. Any questions?
All right.
Yes.
You mentioned the MSTP IP.
Can you look at that for a second?
Yeah, hold on for a minute.
Not really. I just want to make sure everyone's
Hey, Damon.
Yeah.
You mentioned the MSTP and IP control boards are being replaced to have pass-through.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So right now with our IP controllers, say that if I got 10 of them daisy chained together, if I happen to lose power to controller number 3, then I lose the abilities to see controller 3 through 10.
Right.
So with this, with redoing our boards, now if I lose power, we will have a relay in there that will close to keep that communication going through.
And then if another one fails down the line, it'll still pass through?
More than likely, we're probably limited to 2. If you get 2 back to back, that is off, that goes down, then we'll probably fail the whole thing, and that's just because of the distance between nodes.
Yep.
That you would have. You still have that 320 something feet that you could go by. So that's probably the plan.
When will those be available?
So once, like I say, once we release the T1L controllers are officially out into the market by the end of this month, then they're going to go back in and redo that. So the boards themselves are pretty much done. They're just going to go in and just replace the terminals on there. So the T1L's little terminals will change to the Ethernet, and then the same thing for MSTP. And these boards here as well has more memory and everything on them, so we can get a little bit more information in it out of it as well.
Great. Thank you.
So,
More questions? Man, this crowd is so easy today. Are we still awake? Are we doing all right? Yes. All right. Okay, well, if we have no other questions, great job, Damon.
all right.